What's up, everybody? I'm Matt.
And I'm Beth.
And today we're going to walk you through the interior here in the 2020 Subaru Legacy Limited. So this is the first time we've ever done a video like this together, and we figured we'd try it out here for those that are used to my normal car reviews. You know, I usually go through the interior, and I'm going to hit all the same points here, but I wanted to include my wife and do this as a separate video so we can have more time to give her thoughts on what it's like to be a passenger, and also a female perspective on these interiors, because I think there's a lot of things that you see that I miss sometimes. And
yeah, I'm gonna try my best to do this, but like, bear with me, because we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna figure it out together.
Yep. Yeah.
Thumbs up if you like me being in these videos.
Yeah, let us know. So yeah, I think the first thing, just general stuff, is just how plush this interior is. And that's one thing that I think really stands out, is this is just a little more plush than other interiors in this segment. You know, like all the padding, even down by the knee area, on your elbow points, everything is very plush. Even like on the left-hand side of the dashboard here, where no one ever touches, even that is padded. So I'm impressed with how much padding Subaru put in here. It gives it a nice feeling. Now, Mazda has more metal and a little bit of a higher quality feeling interior, I think, but as far as padded surfaces go, I think the Subaru feels a little more plush.
It's definitely nice when you open the door and you sit right down and you feel like you're just sitting on a really nice couch.
Yeah, that's a good segue. So these seats are really nice and comfortable here in the Legacy. They're some of the softest seats that I've encountered, at least in a good while. I sit in a lot of cars if you've watched my other reviews. So really soft, comfortable seats. They're also heated here in the limited version. Now, you can't get cooled seats unless you go for the Turbo Touring trim. And that's a big price jump as well. So heated seats is as nice as you're going to get in this standard base engine version of the Legacy. But it's also, you're sitting up a little bit higher than what you get with some of the competitors. It's pretty close to like a Hyundai Sonata, but as far as like a Nissan Altima, which you can now get with all-wheel drive too, those you sit a little bit lower. And so this, getting in and out of it, it's a little bit easier than it is, I think, in the Altima. And so it takes a little less athleticism to get in and out of the vehicle. Moving on to the steering wheel here, though, it's a really great steering wheel with a nice 9-3 grip, nice 10-2 notches, nicely leather wrapped. I also like this one has the optional heated steering wheel. That's part of a package you get with the moonroof, the steering wheel, and also navigation, and it's like $2,000 bucks. But I love how the button's right here on the wheel. A lot of others put them all over different places in the interior, and I think having it on the steering wheel makes the most sense. I really like the way they set that up. There's a few other buttons here on it, but they're logically arranged. You have paddle shifters behind the wheel if you're an enthusiast, so that's a nice little inclusion. But overall, it's a great wheel.
I definitely haven't driven this car, but it's very nice, and it's a nice round wheel there.
Yep. It's not too big either. I like the way the wheel's set up. So, the gauges here, though, in the Legacy are, nice, clear, and easy to read gauges. You have a little digital portion there in the middle, which can show you a few basic things. It'll show you your song track and fuel economy and tire pressure, basic stuff like that. Nothing too advanced there. And there, some of the competitors these days even have full digital gauges as an option. Nothing like that here, but good simple gauges. Coming over to the center of the dashboard here, right up top, you have this little black bar, and you might be wondering what that is. That's actually the driver monitoring system that Subaru has, and so part of it is a convenience thing. So it'll scan your face when you get into the car, and it'll actually change your seat settings, the radio presets, your climate control. It'll do all that stuff based on your profile, and it's actually very accurate. It works either when you have sunglasses on, at nighttime, all that kind of stuff. It works really well. It also does make sure that you're keeping your eyes on the road, and it's a little overreactive with that sometimes. You can go watch my driving review for my thoughts on that, but it does do a good job of making sure you're not too distracted as well. And so a cool little feature there. But coming down to this infotainment display, it's an 11.6 inch display, and outside of Tesla and like the Ram 1500, I think this is basically about as big as you're going to get in a car these days. And it's pretty high resolution. The font on everything and the colors, some people said it looks a little kiddie and juvenile. I'm okay with it. It doesn't upset me. I don't know. How does it strike you?
I like the stars in the background, but I'm assuming you could probably change that to something different.
I don't know. It might just be that, since that's the whole Subaru, like, you know, thing with their stars in the logo. So I don't know. Maybe you could change that. If not, that'd be a cool thing for them to implement in the future, is have a customizable background like you do on your phone. That'd be a good idea. But yeah, I mean, all the stuff's easy to navigate. The radio stations, you know, scrolling through all that stuff is good. Maps are TomTom based, so a little simpler, but still work great, and no complaints there. Now, it does have standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on all models, and this screen is standard on everything but the base model as well. Then the base model, you get two 7-inch displays instead, but everything else gets this big screen. I will say with the CarPlay is whenever you're plugging it in, it only shows you, like, you know, half the screen is CarPlay, since it's set up as a horizontal arrangement, and that's fine, except this screen isn't very wide because you have, of course, the vertical layout instead, and so it means that really the CarPlay screen is really like what you would get in like a 6 or 7-inch display with CarPlay in a normal vehicle that doesn't have this kind of a setup, and so it means that the buttons are a little small to press within CarPlay and stuff, so it's a little harder to use, especially when you're driving, to hit those tiny little icons versus the larger icons you see on some of these bigger screens that, you know, have the whole screen taken up with a huge CarPlay display. So that is one thing. Also, whenever it was giving me directions, it was a little bit of a tinny sound to it. But whenever I would actually play music through, you know, the CarPlay, it did sound very, very good. In this vehicle, the Limiteds here get a Harman Kardon 12-speaker stereo, and it sounds really good. It's right up there at the top of the pack, I think, as far as good stereos in this class of vehicle.
There's one thing that isn't my favorite. Very often in the winter, I love my heated seats, and the thing about this car is nice that it has heated seats, except for it's a 2-step process. I have to tap the screen once, and then I have to tap it again to turn my heated seat on, and you know, that's not the biggest of deals if you don't really care that much, but if you're getting into the car and wanting that heated seat right now, it's a little bit longer of a process to turn it on than in other cars.
Yeah, and it's also, the screen's a little laggy and slow to boot up. There's been a couple times where we'd hop in and, you know, we'd try and turn it on, and it actually would like lag and give me a second or two before it would even come up. So it's like I hit the button, then I'm waiting for the screen to display the heated seat option, and then hit it again. So yeah, it needs a little bit of a speed boost, I think, for the whole system, and it would be nice, I mean, if you just hit this little part and it would just turn on the heated steering wheel instead, or the heated seats, instead of having to pull up a whole screen and then hit it. Like, there's no reason.
How I thought it was in the beginning, was that you could just press that, but you can't. You have to press it and then press it again.
Yeah, it seems like an unnecessary step. You know, if people want to get into the climate controls, just hit the middle part and pull all that stuff up and have them go in and do whatever they want to do. But that should be just an easy change, and maybe that's something they can do in the future, but definitely a good thing to point out.
But as far as the heated seats go, they are really nice.
Yeah, they get hot pretty quickly and feel good.
Yeah.
Coming down beneath that, you'll see this nice big cubby, and there's an auxiliary jack and 2 USB jacks in there as well. And this space actually is large enough that it fits my iPhone 11 no problem. Now, it doesn't lay flat because it's got this steep bank to that space there, but it's actually lit a little bit as well, and it's a good deep pocket there. You can see there's pockets in the doors here with a bottle holder, and there's also 2 cup holders here, which are nice and deep.
I do have a pocket on the side here too, which I can throw my phone in because it's skinny enough for that. So if I don't feel like having my phone in my lap or in my purse, I could throw it there.
Yeah, that's a nice spot. You also got that other little one over there.
Yep, this
and
one too.
Does that fit your phone, or is that like, okay, so yeah, I mean, that's a good amount of space, you know, and I like that Subaru's actually thinking about the passenger, because usually you have nothing here. This is all just straight up, you know, hard plastic and no pockets whatsoever. So it's good that they did think about the passenger more than I think most of the companies in this segment do. There's also a center armrest here, which is really softly padded and wide enough that both of us can use it. And it does, thankfully, just open right up in the middle here. So, you know, either me or her can get into this, which is great. And there's 2 levels. There's a top little level here for more shallow items. Then there's this deeper lower part. And you'll see another power outlet in there. And a good amount of space. You can see my sunglass case fits in there just fine. And so storage space, I think, is right up there with some of the best in the segment. Another material thing to mention here is it has, you know, some nice trim here that looks like metal, but it's not, again, quite as high quality as like a Mazda 6 or something. But you do have a little bit of trim around like the window switches and things like that.
speaking of window switches, this one is very interesting because I ride in a lot of cars and this window switch is the size of 2 of my fingers, which is fine, but
they make it very easy on you.
Yes, it's very easy, and luckily I noticed that all of them are auto open and close, so...
Oh, they're all auto up down,
Yeah, 'cause
so
I
that's
just-
nice.
I just looked, yeah, so... Sorry, they're all auto up down, so that's very nice, but I just noticed it was a little bit bigger. Not an issue, not bad, it was just something I noticed.
You can do it with your eyes shut. Backseat space here in the Legacy is also pretty spacious. So Subaru said they added about 1.6 inches of rear legroom there, and it does seem a little bit more spacious. Now it still is less than like a Honda Accord, I think, and a few of the others might have a little bit more space, like maybe the new Hyundai Sonata. But me sitting behind myself, being 5'9", I have about 4 inches maybe of legroom to spare back there. So still plenty of space. You should be able to fit someone over 6 feet tall back there, no problem. I have plenty of headroom as well. There's also bottle holders in those doors and a fold down center armrest with 2 cup holders built into it. When you look forward, you'll see air vents back there as well, which is great for those rear seat passengers. There's also 2 more USB jacks back there, so both kids or whatever sitting back there could have their stuff powered up. And there's also heated rear seats for those outboard 2 seats here in the Limited as well. Trunk space in the Legacy here is actually really good as well. So they actually made the floor a little bit lower and it's a little bit of a wider opening, so it's very easy to put things in there, and it's a nice large trunk too. It goes pretty far back, pretty wide there on the sides, and beneath the floor there you'll see 2 little kind of bins there, but it's mostly just set up you know, for your spare tire type stuff there, so no formal, you know, plastic bin or anything, but still, I mean, just a really good sized trunk right up there with the best in the segment, and you know, it should be more than enough. You also have the rear seats do fold down. If you want even more space, then you can slide nice long items here through the vehicle if you need to, and you know, have almost as much practicality as the Outback, although not quite as much. But yes, that's it as far as the interior here on the Legacy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed us doing this video together. Let us know in the comments below what you think about this and any changes you'd like us to make. Let me know also what you think about me having this as a separate video aside from the driving part. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys very much for watching.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Take care.